Hey guys, insight number 3. So we're in Alma's chapter 30, verse 48 through 55. So I had to look at my notes down here. My very minimal little notes that I teach from. 48 to 45, be careful what you ask for. Now I'll say this time and time again. When you are going to pray for something, be very, very specific. Because the Lord will give it to you. He's already promised that if you pray and it's meant to be, and it often is, or if it's something that's going to help you because He wants to help you, He will give it to you. But be very specific, because He will give it to you in a very non-linear, very creative way as what your thinking was. So be very, very specific in what you're praying for, honestly. But this is Korihor asking for a sign. He wants a sign. He's like, well, I still don't believe any of this stuff. Like, you say all things denote there is a God. Well, I just think it's coincidence. I think it's just a nice happening. There's fruit on the tree, there's a moon, and there's a sun, and that's just cosmic gases, I mean, he probably didn't know the term, but goodness knows what Satan was feeding him, or feeds anyone that is contentious like this. Some people just are, and are unwilling to see it in any other way. They want a sign. So, be careful at what they ask for. So, Alma tells him, if you keep doing this, you're going to be struck dumb. And that's the end of it, because you can't keep doing this amongst this people who's been living peacefully for many years now, which they fought dang hard for, and you're going to come in and disrupt it. You're gonna go down, mate. So, stop asking. But Korihor says to them in verse 48, I do not deny the existence of a God, but I do not believe that there is a God. As in, there could be the one that exists, but I have no proof of it. I need proof that there is a God. And I say also that you do not know that there is a God, and except you show me a sign, I will not believe. I need to see it. I'm not going to choose to see it in what you've already said, because I can write that off to all sorts of other things. I want to see this person right before me. Now, does that sound a little like Nephi's brothers and other people in the scriptures that have asked to see a sign, and they've had angels appear to them, and they've had all sorts of things happen, and yet they still deny that there's a Christ, or that they'll turn back on it? Big signs don't work. You need little drops of oil in that lamp. You need to choose to believe. You have the privilege to believe. Choose to believe. Choose to see the things around you as a sign. I can look out my window right now. I can see the olive tree. There's birds in it. They're eating fruit that's coming on. There's a beautiful blue sky out there, and the gravity works, and the heat pump's working, and I'm in a house where I'm warm. I think all of that is a sign to me that a God exists. There's things beyond how I could explain them, and I'm not saying that I'm smart or dumb or anything. I'm a regular person, but there are simply things beyond my comprehension I cannot explain, only to say that there is a God. And divine creator, there is supreme creator. It's just how it is. Anyway, Alma in 49 says, and now Alma said unto him, this will I give thee for a sign, that thou shalt be struck dumb, according to the words, and I say that in the name of God you shall be struck dumb, and you shall have no more utterance. Done. Now when Alma had said these words, Korihor was struck dumb. See? Be careful what you ask for. You wanted a sign? You got a sign. Is it the one you wanted? Nope. Is it the one you're happy with? Nope. Is it a one that's going to ultimately get you killed? Yep. But you asked for it. So be careful what you ask for. God will give you what you ask for. So be very careful what you ask for. And he couldn't have any utterance. And then the chief judge at this time puts his hand and writes unto him. This is in verse 51. Art thou convinced of the power of God, in whom did ye desire that Alma should show forth a sign? Would ye that ye should afflict others to show unto thee a sign? Behold, he has showed unto you a sign, and now will ye dispute more? Are you still going to say there's no God? And in 52, Korihor puts forth his hand, and he writes, I know that I am dumb, for I cannot speak, and I know that nothing, save it were the power of God, could bring this upon me, and yea, I always knew that there was a God. But the devil hath, this is 53, the devil hath deceived me, for he appeared unto me in the form of an angel, and said unto me, Go and reclaim this people, for they have all gone astray after an unknown God. And then he said to me, there is no God, and he taught me that which I should say, and goes on to talk about what was that. So be careful what you ask for. In these verses, Korihor demands a sign. Do you think this would have changed his mind ultimately? They don't. We see it does enough to have him beg the curse gone, yet Alma knows it is not enough. Because he says there, 56, because Alma said unto him in 55, if this curse should be taken from thee, thou wilt again lead away the hearts of this people. Therefore it shall be unto thee even as the Lord will. And it came to pass that the curse was not taken off Korihor, but he was cast out and went from house to house begging for his food. They knew enough that if they gave him a speech back, he'd be just as troublesome. He'd fall back into it again. So who are you listening to? Because he was listening to Satan, and he got convinced that that was the right thing. And a lot of people do that. Remember, Satan is incredibly cunning. He is subtle, he is cunning, he will tell you things that are almost true but not quite. And it takes such strong mental willpower to just get through that. And I feel to share with you something very tender which will make me feel like I want to cry. I've had some very tough times lately, and I've been having the thought attack my head because I know what's coming, and I know it's going to be good, and it's going to do a lot of good, and I'm involved in that doing of a lot of good, and Satan doesn't want that done. He doesn't. So he's been attacking me, not directly, because he knows that he cannot get at me directly anymore. He's now attacking me through other people that I need to help support me and care for me and live life, and that I live around and be with. He's been attacking me through them. So I've had to ask for that to not happen, and that I did. I prayed last night. I was very careful what I prayed for. Got what I needed. I'll continue to pray for that. But the thought that Satan was sending me that was just terrible, with all these people attacking me, and it's not just been one, it's been several, and the way that I've been feeling and the way they've been making me feel, on purpose too. And you can only ignore so much of it before you become just disparaged beyond compare. And as I was driving out to the temple on Wednesday night to help with our baptistry group, it was just like, it'd be so much easier if I was dead. It would be. And then I'm like, I don't want to have those thoughts. I'm not going to let Satan win at me like that. But he will come at you continually. So very subtle and very clever. Who are you listening to? Because after that thought happened, I went through all the reasons why it would be better if I was still here. Who needed me? What did I need to do? Specifically Christ. Christ needed me here. What does he need me to do? So it takes a very strong mind to overcome those things. And we often get signs, and how do you recognize these? How do you recognize them? And how many do you miss? Like, how many do we miss in a day of the signs we get? And who are you listening to? Is it Satan or is it the Holy Ghost? How do you know the difference? It's very hard to tell sometimes for people if they know the difference. And I will tell you this, Satan will never tell you to do good things. He'll say some things that are good, but the Holy Ghost will never, ever, ever tell you things like, if you'd be better off if you were dead. The Holy Ghost would never do that. The Holy Ghost would never come in and make you feel less than. Anything that tears down, anything that makes you feel guilty, ugly, nasty, is not from the Holy Ghost. Remorseful of something you might have sinned for, yes. That ugly guiltiness that you have even though you've repented, that's from Satan. He's picking at you. So yeah, we should feel that remorse and that desire to be close to Christ again, but we shouldn't be caught in that awful gulf of misery as described in the scriptures around what Satan wants us to be, because that's where he is. And he wants us to be there too. And so anything that's going to make us feel like that is not from Jesus. I remember we have privilege to choose belief. We can choose what to believe. We can choose who to listen to. And in that we choose to see as observer relative. What we choose to see as observer relative. We can see ugly or we can see good, or we can see the ugly and go, thank you for that, but I'm not taking that on. It's all observer relative. Korihor has the ultimate lesson to be careful what you ask for. Absolutely, be careful what you ask for. How can you ask better to see the signs and know the right places to put our belief, or put your belief? How can you see those signs and know the right places to put your belief? I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. Please let us know, because I've got mine figured out. How did you figure yours out? Are you still figuring it out? Let us know. Anyway, hang around. I'll see you for the next one.